Hey,
Coming in with the
hey.
So we just got done with about an hour of rapping, so I think we're good to go.
Yeah,
I don't know if people
as
know.
soon as we're done signing this record label.
Yeah, right. Seriously, we're terrible.
So bad.
But that's how we warm up for the podcast is we do some rapping
Yep.
and find some old hip hop beats, but we got to find beats that are like super slow. Because if it's got speed at all,
That's right. We can't think that fast.
we just usually end up laughing. But we get the vocal cords ready, tip of the tongue.
Teeth to the lips.
The Human Torch was denied a bank loan.
I saw tangent. I saw a clip from Jack Black, and he was saying how he used to like the acting school, and they would get ready to act and like enunciate and stuff really clearly. He said one of them was red leather, yellow leather, red leather, yellow leather.
Yeah.
And I remember trying to say it the first time. I was like, dang, that's hard. Red leather, yellow leather.
Red leather, yellow leather, red leather, yellow leather, red leather.
Yeah, my
yellow
brain's
leather.
slow, I guess.
Yeah, but I can't do toy boat. That's easy.
Toy boat, 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 toy boat.
Dude.
Not bad?
But once you say toy boat once,
Yeah.
I think it's over.
You're done.
Like, try it again. Give me 5.
Toy boat, 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 toy boat. Yeah, and then I start to
Dude, but
drift.
still, I don't know. People would usually get 5. Like a superhero.
New York, what is it? Anyway.
That Jack Black had?
No, it's a more common one.
I don't know. I just the ones on Anchorman.
Yeah.
Get the children. And that's what he says. The Human Torch one.
Oh, okay. Nice. Today we have a goodie.
Yes, it's a goodie.
We're excited to share a little piece of ourselves with y'all.
Maybe more than you want to hear.
Probably more than you want to hear. A pretty embarrassing side of ourselves.
Yeah.
In fact, some of our most embarrassing moments is what we're going to share today.
It's funny because if you think about who could listen to this in the future, because I mean, most people listening right now are moms.
Mm-hmm.
And Kyle from last week,
right?
The police officer.
Yeah.
He listens.
Shout out, Kyle.
If the people that could hear this down the road, like imagine if we ended up getting a different boss or something, and the boss was like, "Hey, I found you on Spotify." We're like, "No, don't do it.
Yeah.
Get the children." So anyway,
we had the job until we did the background check.
Yeah,
I came across your podcast
and found out that you were. Go ahead and share your first experience.
At one point, terrified of robbers.
Oh, that one. Oh, okay. You're going to number 2. You're saving number 1.
I'm saving number 1.
Okay.
It's too traumatic. I got to warm up to that one.
Okay.
So when I was probably, let's say 7-ish, I think it was like 1st or 2nd grade. I wake up middle of the night. It felt like middle of the night. It was still dark outside. I was really tired. I can hear down the hall. The house is completely dark. I can hear. I slept in the basement. Bunk bed. My brother was in the other bunk. Younger brother.
The cold, dark basement that I can sleep for hours in.
Oh my gosh, it's the best place to sleep.
Cold basements are awesome.
Which is why this was such a traumatic event, because I was sleeping so well.
Yeah.
And I woke up to like all these noises of stuff being like just moved around and rearranged in the other room. Like the laundry. It was the laundry room at the time. It's kind of down the hall and then a room to the right. And I remember, I remember hearing metal clanking and pots and pans and stuff like moving around.
Because there's also food storage in there too.
There was food storage.
Food storage closet.
There was like craft stuff that my mom kept in there. There was the washer and dryer was in there at the time. It was before we did a little addition off the back of the house. And I'm hearing all this stuff, and I'm like, I'm sure that we're getting robbed.
Yeah, at 6 o'clock in the morning.
At 6 o'clock, it turned out it was like 6:30 and still completely dark outside. So it must have been like winter-ish. And so I kid you not, for the next like 15 to 20 minutes, I sit in that bunk bed terrified. Like, what do? I have to tell my parents that we're getting robbed.
You didn't sing any church songs
like children's church songs to put my mind at ease and say prayers. I'm sure I was saying my prayers because I thought if I got if this robber comes down the hall, he's gonna kill me.
Were your brothers in there?
My younger brother was in the bottom bunk, and I was
But you're gonna protect him.
right. Like I wasn't gonna wake him up. I need to make sure everyone was safe and go tell my parents so my dad could handle the situation, right? And so in my head for 15 to 20 minutes, I hear this noise continue and just rustling around things. I'm like, okay, I have to get past the room quietly, go up the stairs, and get to my parents' room before the robber comes out and does any further damage to myself or the family, right? And so I tiptoe down the hall, and the most terrifying moment comes when I pass that door. And I slowly get past the door.
The door's closed.
The door is shut.
Okay.
I can just see the light coming from underneath the door. And then I slowly, there's a couple stairs that like creak, and so I skip those ones and like slowly tiptoe up. And I kid you not, one stair from the top. And kind of in a hurry, all of a sudden the door opens. And I turn back down the stairs and I look to the bottom of the stairs, and my face and my eyes are just like so wide, and I just go, ah! And my mom comes out the door, kind of I don't know what, this had never happened before. Like she was not up at 6:30 doing whatever she was doing, rearranging that room or trying to find something. I kid you not, it was one of the scariest moments of my life. Man. And then I see it's her, and I just break down in tears, and she's, what's wrong? What? And I'm like, I thought you were a robber. And then I told her the whole story about how I sat up in bed for like 20 to, I don't know how long it was, honestly.
Probably seemed like 10 hours.
It seemed like a lifetime. And then that night, I go to school that day.
Okay.
And then that night I come home, and I all I could think about all day was robbers.
Okay.
And all of a sudden I had this like terrible fear of robbers because I convinced myself that's what was going on that morning. I get a piece of paper, and I draw on this piece of paper. I draw no robbers allowed, and I tape it up to my door of my room and try to sleep peacefully after that.
And then you left later on that day for high school.
Yep.
That's a good story, man.
That is a good one, but it doesn't even come close to comparing to your experience.
Oh, I'm going to start with a gold experience. This is fantastic.
I can't wait.
This is something you don't want your next boss to hear.
Mm.
So this was at the time where me and my wife had our first baby. She was 6 months old, and we were able to go to Hawaii. And in order to go to Hawaii, we had to travel through Denver because we were going to leave our baby with my mom.
Makes sense.
In Denver. So we did a layover in Denver, and then we go to Hawaii for a couple days and come back here. Because it was our first child, and man, we were beat, right? It was hard. And so we go to the airport early in the morning, okay? And while I'm walking in, I buy a bagel with cream cheese, right? Kind of sketchy cream cheese.
You haven't even gotten on your first flight yet?
No, we hadn't even gone through security. Just right when I walked in, I just got one. I was like, I got to eat now because I got to take care of her, and we had so much stuff, and So then we go to the plane, the terminal, and we're waiting, and I start to feel a little grumbly in the tumbly. And I'm like, that's interesting. And so we go and get on the plane, and the way it was set up, the plane was completely full, and it was one of those ones that only has it's still 3x3, right? 3 on each side, but then it's only 20 or 30 rows long. It's not that big of a plane because it's just going to Denver.
Okay.
And from Utah. And so we're on the plane, my wife's window seat, my baby's in the middle, and then me, and then there's people all around us. And my stomach, even more so, is I'm like, I'm not feeling too good. And the plane pulls away, and we start driving to get in line on the tarmac, to take off.
Yeah.
And then we stop, and we don't move. And all of a sudden, I'm like, Ash, I think I'm going to puke. I was like, I don't feel good. And she's like, oh my gosh. And so I'm sitting there, So to relieve a little bit of the tongue pressure, I let a squeaker go. I let out a Mr. Squeaks, if you will. And
Was it audible?
no.
Okay.
It was just straight hot air.
Okay.
Hot
Yeah.
cream cheese air, right? But the thing about this particular gassy experience was that the fart was absolutely rancid.
Oh, no.
It was so bad. And so I'm like, oh my gosh. And so my wife is just working, taking care of the baby and stuff. And all of a sudden she looks up at me and starts laughing so hard because it was so bad. And I'm just sitting there and I'm like, Ash, I don't know what to do. I don't feel good. And she's just staring at me. And we're still stopped on the tarmac. The plane is now off. So heat starts cranking up, right?
Oh, no.
And I'm getting all hot and sweaty and like literally sweat's pouring down my face. And my stomach's still just... So she can't stop laughing because this fart smells so bad. And she knows everybody in front of us and behind us and beside us is just like...
Within 5 rows of you.
Dude, holding it in, like
Oh.
on lock. It's just bad. And so then I'm like, I don't know what to do. So I let another one fly because my stomach is just going nuts, right?
Yeah.
And she still is just laughing and like tears running down her face because it's so bad, right? She's trying to be quiet. And then I'm like, uh-oh. And people are moving around, they're feeling a little anxious. And I was like, I should go to the bathroom. So I'm at the lady sitting in her seat in the front, and I lean out into the aisle, and I can see her, and I say, hey, I got to go to the bathroom. And she shakes her head, and she goes, no, you have to stay still, or you have to stay in your seat because there's a problem with the plane. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Right then I lean forward and I grab the puke bag out of the front seat. Dude, when I say I lost it, I lost it. I mean, I filled up that puke bag, dude, and I'm so loud, and I'm like, ah! And during this whole time, I can't control any other part of me, so I'm blowing farts like crazy, right? I mean, just like a machine gun out the backside, and they are just so bad. And we can start to hear people who are like dry heaving because they're hearing me go, and hear somebody else go, and then I'm smelling my own farts, and I've got this like full bag, and like I'm sitting there, and the lady's like, you have to stay still.
There's no
And
way.
I promise, dude.
Oh my
and,
gosh.
And still, Ashley she's like ready to throw up. She's laughing so hard, and she's dealing with the smells that are coming off of this guy. And oh, dude, I felt so sick. And so then after that, I didn't care. At that point, when you're that sick, you're just like, I don't care who's around me. Good luck.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because I got another puke bag. I threw up again.
Oh, man.
Still farting up a storm, trying not to, have it turn into something worse.
I was going to say, were you worried about pooping your pants?
Oh, yeah. I didn't, though.
Oh, that's amazing.
I know. I got lucky there.
Especially if you're puking, like your stomach's got to be in bad shape.
Yeah. It hit me like a ton of bricks, dude. And I even remember sometimes I would laugh because Ashley was laughing so hard. But then I'd be like, and then finally, we sat there for a half hour. And then finally the plane took off. I went back to the bathroom and I stayed in there the whole flight. The whole flight. I didn't leave. I just stayed in there, and I was like, I don't care who's here. I'm not getting out. I didn't even when the plane landed, I stayed in there.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't leave.
And nobody tried to come and get you out? Like the flight attendants?
Nope.
Wow.
I wasn't moving, so... Yeah. And then because I was sick, we stayed in Denver for one night, and then the next day left to Hawaii.
Oh, man.
But yeah, my wife loves that story, even
that
though
is so good.
It's just when you're that sick, you just don't care. You're just like, I'm done. I don't know, whatever.
Right. But I cannot imagine how uncomfortable that would have been because you probably didn't have a change of clothes with you, right? You checked a bag, or did you carry on?
No, we checked a bag because we checked them and sent them. They went to Hawaii. Because we couldn't, whatever the exchange was, we couldn't get them off, right?
Yeah.
And they lost them. They lost our bags. And we did get them like 2 days later. But yeah, it was horrible, dude. It was so bad.
That would be so
But
bad.
also, I can keep picturing Ashley laughing, my wife laughing, and it's just so funny because she just couldn't believe what was happening. But
I know what I would have said to you in that situation if I was, if it was audible.
If you were the guy
and
in front of me,
and I could hear you fart, which reminds me of another time when so I'm in a grocery store and along the same lines. I'm in a grocery store. I need to go to the bathroom.
Wait, which grocery store?
It was a Smith's.
Okay.
It was a Smith's, I think, downtown Salt Lake or something like that. So I go into the bathroom before I make some purchases, and I got to go pretty bad. So I step up to the urinal, do my thing, and in the middle of it, there's this guy in the stall right next to me. And he just
Smith stall guy.
Smith's stall guy. And Smith's stall guy, man, he must have had a cream cheese bagel because
it was me. I was in there.
It was you. No, because I know you would have said something. Anyway, he's just blasting off in there. But he does the longest, loudest fart. Just
and special effects.
And I'm sitting there like, I can't just leave this on. I can't leave this without saying something, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm still at the urinal doing my thing, and I just go, "Nice, dude,"
out loud.
Yeah, I just go, nice, dude. Like a congratulatory way to get that one.
Yeah,
that one out.
Like a pat on the back. Yeah, a fartulations.
Yeah. And I expect like we're gonna have this hilarious exchange,
yeah,
or at least he's like, oh man, shouldn't have eaten that cream cheese bagel, whatever. But nothing, just crickets. He doesn't say a thing, and so I just wash my hands and get out of there before he's finished and he can see me.
It must have been just normal for him, and he was like, "I wasn't even that good" or something.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, well
that's nothing.
Well, we could actually talk about another embarrassing moment, but we were together. So this happened in college. We were skateboarding, and I fell and broke my wrist.
Yeah.
And the next day, they had given me a Percocet, I'm pretty sure, that I never had before. And they gave me Percocet, and
that was it. And there was me and my brother and you, and we didn't believe that you had broken your wrist because it wasn't a big deal at first, right?
Yeah. You guys were told me, oh, it's just a stinger. And I ended up going to the emergency room after you guys went to bed because I couldn't sleep.
Oh man!
And then you wake up and I had a cast on, and you're like, what?
What happened? You're like, oh yeah, I haven't even been to sleep yet.
Yeah. So anyway, later on that next day, we ended up going to the drive-in movie theater down there on Redwood.
Yeah.
And what is that? Is that West Valley?
No, I think technically it's Taylorsville.
Still Taylorsville?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Redwood Drive-In.
Yeah, I just went there actually.
Nice.
Yeah, the place is awesome.
I need to go back.
Yeah, it's fun. We went to the drive-in, me, you, and your brother, and I ended up taking one of those pills. Just because I'm like, well, it didn't hurt that bad, but I just took one.
Getting ahead of the pain.
And it made me woozy, and so in the middle of that place they have a bathroom and a food stand and stuff. So the bathroom's pretty big. So I don't even know if I really remember or this was more you guys telling me, but I was in there and all of a sudden I'm in there going to the bathroom, and all of a sudden you come in and turn the corner, and you're like, Ben, why are your pants at your ankles? And I'm standing at the urinal next to some guy, and I had pulled my pants like you do when you're a little kid, where you tuck your shirt under your chin and pull your pants all the way down to your feet. And I don't know. It's just what I did. I don't know. Maybe I didn't want to get on my clothes.
There's those moments in life where you like take a mental photograph. Dude, I still remember that clear as day. Turning the corner and you just drop your drawers all the way to the floor. But the thing that made it the funniest was there was a guy standing right next to you. The other guy,
right? Yeah.
Oh man, that was so funny.
Yeah.
And I think the guy was just trying to like play it cool, like, oh, these weirdos, just
Yeah.
you know, and he's like just looking straight ahead, almost like robot rigid,
Mm-hmm.
and then just turns and leaves. Oh, that was so funny.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So here's one. Me and my wife. This was like this. It was about a year before we had our first kid, and we go on a baby moon. So we're like, we're gonna go have one last hoorah before we have kids. So we book a trip to Florida, go to a like Universal for a few days, go down to a beach, and then we come up for a baseball game in Tampa. And during that game, there's this foul ball that gets hit up to the section that we were sitting in. And it like bounced twice and then just disappeared in a bunch of seats that nobody was sitting in.
Okay.
And so it was like, I'm like, oh, I got to get a foul ball, pro game, and I go up and I run up there and try looking for it. And I see this like other guy go up and he starts looking for it. And then this kid, goes up and looks for it.
That
And
ruins it.
dude, seriously, if you're a kid and you don't get the ball, everyone else is just a jerk. And so they're looking in the same section I am for a little bit. And then the guy and the kid decide like they're giving up in that area. And I swear I saw it landing there. And they go to the next section over. And so this part's not really important. Anyway, I find the ball lodged in between a seat and the seat back, which is why it was kind of shoved down there, but hidden. It wasn't on the ground like you would expect. And so I pulled out and I'm like, yes, I get to take a ball home. This is awesome. And so, the kid and the guy are like two sections over at this point. But I go and sit down and, I'm showing it to Emily, and this guy in the crowd in the crowd, like the section next to me, just goes, "Give the ball to the kid, you a-hole." I'm like, the kid's clear over there. Like, he wasn't even close. Like, he was never close to the ball, right? Just because a kid's standing up in the vicinity, like, I have to give it to him.
You're one of those.
And I almost like just flat out lied and said, "I'm giving it to my kid."
Yeah, right.
Anyway, I'm like, okay, whatever.
You have to now.
Yeah, I'll just part with this thing. I don't want to be an a-hole, and so
or on ESPN or something.
Yeah, exactly. Because they've done that.
Oh yeah,
they've showed the people that keep the ball and don't give it to the kid. And so I go over and I hand it to the kid, and I'm like, "Here, you have it." And then his dad is like, "Oh, that's so nice. Thank you so much." He's like, "Can I buy you a drink or a T-shirt or something?" And I'm like, No. Just don't worry about it. Just, enjoy." Anyway, so we had that friendly little exchange. And then the game is over, and we're walking out to the concourse, and I have to go to the bathroom. All of my stories involve a bathroom, I think, somehow. And anyway, I look over, and I see the kid and his dad, and, I have this, like, friendly little... Yeah, and I had this moment of like, oh yeah, I'm a good guy. I gave him the ball and give him a friendly wave and look up, and then I start to turn, and as he's turning, he like kind of like points over my head at something, and I kind of just look, I turn my head and look around, and then just walk into the bathroom, right?
Yeah.
And as I go in, and I'm like looking for the urinal, and all I see is stall after stall after stall. I'm like, well, this is a weird bathroom.
Oh no. Oh no.
And it's like a long section of stalls, and nobody's in there except down at the very, very end. I see a woman, and I was like, holy crap, I just walked into the women's bathroom. Like I was like 20 feet into this massive bathroom. So I'm like, oh crap. And then I turn around and come back out, and sure enough, the guy and the kid are like still looking in that direction. He was trying to warn me that I was about to walk into the women's bathroom.
I imagine the lady that was at the end, if she saw you, she would have screamed like you did on the stairs.
That's the guy that didn't want to give the kid the ball.
Yeah. Oh man, did you pass any women on your way out or no?
No, luckily no one was starting to come in, and I got it. I don't know if anyone was in the stalls that I had passed, but
yeah,
I like almost sprinted out of there. It's like, oh.
I have walked in, but not that far at all.
That's good.
Like just like I think it was a movie theater. I just right in for a second. I'm like, oh, my bad.
Yeah.
So there was the time that I was a sophomore or junior at Utah Valley University, UVU, where I went for a couple years, and I was in a giant biology class, right? Like huge. Like there were like 100 students, and it was stadium seating. And we had just one teacher who he just lectured and then he left. One of the extremely difficult classes,
Mm-hmm.
just because he wanted to weed everybody out, or I don't know. It was annoying.
One of the hard generals that everybody has to do, but nobody wants to, and
Yeah, so
big,
stupid.
big classes.
Dude, I could do a whole podcast just on that.
Yeah.
So we're in class and we're starting to learn about leaves and why they're the color they are, and I don't even really exactly remember how it works, but when I saw the word chlorophyll in the textbook, I knew this was my moment, right? Here it comes, my time to shine. And he's up there talking, and it's just quiet. He doesn't ask questions. Nobody asks questions. It's literally just taking notes. And he says something about chlorophyll, and I go, chlorophyll, more like borophyll. And I was so excited that I actually did it, right? Like that I was like, there's so many people.
Yeah.
And I said it loud enough to where, 4 rows in each direction heard it. He didn't, but they all heard it, And I'm like, and I look around, not one smirk, not one laugh, not anything, dude. Nothing.
Oh my God.
Literally nothing. I was so disappointed and I felt so stupid. I felt literally like everyone there just went, oh my gosh, that kid is dumb.
Oh man. Billy Madison, right?
Yeah, Billy Madison.
Okay, thank goodness. I was like, how do you not know that line?
Literally, no one. Not people sitting next to me. I didn't know anybody. Nobody. And if someone would have done that next to me, I would have lost it.
Oh yeah.
I would have laughed so hard.
That
and it was funny because I looked to the sides at him like, no, nothing, man, nothing. I don't know what the deal was, but I don't know.
Dude, that is a great story. That it reminded me of not embarrassing moment that happened per se, but just this like something like that did happen, and I was one of the guys that laughed hysterically.
Oh, at something else?
Yeah.
Okay.
That somebody did. So same thing, and it happened to be a biology class. No, it was like geography or geology or something. It was another general that everybody had to take in a huge auditorium with a couple hundred students. And the professor, I remember, he's up in the front of the class. He's got this like glass tube, and he's demonstrating a vacuum. And so he puts a penny in the tube and then tips it upside down. And he's like, okay, the penny falls normally.
Okay.
He's like, and then puts a feather in, does the same thing. The feather falls slowly. He's like, but now watch this. And he has this little vacuum thing, and he sucks all the air out of the glass tube. And then he turns it, and you can see that the feather and the penny fall at the same rate because there's no resistance for the feather. Anyway, he's demonstrating that idea. And this guy had to be like days, if not hours, away from retirement. Like he did not care that we learned anything. When we took the exams, if you went up to the front and checked your answer with him, he would tell you if it was wrong.
Okay.
It's like if you didn't get an A in that class, it's because you didn't go.
Yeah.
So right in the middle of this vacuum demonstration, this guy in the back right corner of the room.
Wait, how many people were in there?
At least a couple hundred.
Like,
it was
gosh.
a huge class.
Okay.
Massive class. And he just stands up and holds his backpack by one hand, one strap, and drags it behind him down these steps and just goes clunk, clunk, clunk. He's like, I don't get it. This doesn't make any sense. And then he just storms out like he's angry about something. And just clunk, 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 and then slams the door behind him.
Was he really mad?
He had to be joking. I think he was joking because the way he stormed away and stuff.
Yeah.
Dude, I started laughing so hard. And I think most people were just trying to process what had happened. And I was just like, this is the best class ever. I'm not learning a thing.
Yeah. You should have been friends with that guy.
No, I should have even remembered his face because he may have showed up to class the next day. I don't know.
Dude, hey, guy, if you ever, come across this podcast somehow, some magical way, reach out.
Comment, and I want to meet you.
Yeah, you can be on the podcast.
Shake your hand.
Yes.
Yeah, because I laughed so hard when that happened. I just assumed the guy was joking, which I think he was. It was pretty clear from like his body language and his face and the way he yelled it. It was so funny.
That's awesome. I wish more people did that. That's that out of your comfort zone type thing.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons. So to our mothers out there listening who are now wishing that we didn't have a podcast.
Now they just have to listen in for damage control.
Yeah. Now they're going to get,
You shouldn't say that. Like they're our grandmas. Sorry, Mom. Yeah, that was not a good impersonation.
My mom probably would have said, like, you shouldn't do that in her young voice, but I guess that's how you feel about your mom, so... Hey, Zachy!
I was just thinking a disciplinary tone, and I thought of a grandmother, but that's definitely not how either of our moms sound.
Okay, so what I'm saying though is that like doing that stuff, that was this podcast, right? Where we were like, I don't know if we want to say this stuff, but this podcast has been great to help us get out of our comfort zone and just, everybody throws up and farts on an airplane,
That's right.
So why do we have to be embarrassed of that?
Exactly.
And it's good for us to laugh.
Give people the real, right? Yeah. The relatable,
the real nitty gritty.
Because everyone listening right now, don't try to pretend like you weren't that person on the airplane farting and making everyone else gag.
Always happens. We're at time. I was thinking that we could end with one that me and you both know, or should we end with the one that you left out?
Oh man, do we have time for both? I can be quick.
Okay.
I have to give a little bit of backstory to this, but I'll be quick about it. I was terrorized by dogs as a kid. I was so scared of dogs, it was ridiculous. But when I was a young kid, one of the neighbors' German shepherds came after me, and it like put the fear of God in me, but the fear of dogs. And man, I was so scared of dogs for a long time. It just came after me really aggressively. I thought I was gonna die, but it didn't even bite me. It was just attacking me. Anyway, fast forward, maybe a year or two. I don't even know how old I was at this point. I would guess like 10. And in the summer, we used to play just these pickup football games at the church in a grassy area at the church. So get a bunch of the guys together. We're playing football and we're in the middle of it. And at one point, there's like a, ball goes to the ground. Everybody dives in to grab it. One of the guys that plays with us, he would always bring his dog, and his dog would just kind of run around, kind of around the outside of us playing and stuff. He was a Dalmatian, and they're like really high energy and really active and really fast and things like that. A bunch of us are like diving into the circle trying to grab the ball at the same time.
Yeah.
And as soon as I dive in, I'm reaching in there with my hands and I'm on my knees and my butt's in the air. And this dog comes and jumps on my back. and just like this dog's like in heat or something. He's starting to go to town on my back. And I'm scared of dogs still, right? Like I'm still scared of dogs. I think that this thing's like attacking me and it's jumped on my back and he's trying to like bite me and stuff. And I stand up and this dog still has like his front paws on my shoulders.
And he's breathing on your neck. Whispering like, things into your
panting
ear.
on my neck and hot dog breath and everything. And everyone around is just laughing hysterically. And I'm like stepping forward trying to get this thing off of me. And I'm like, help. And I'm just like terrorized at this point by this dog. Finally, I get it off me. I like grab one of the paws and pull it off or something. And he runs away. But dude, everybody was laughing so hard. And then I just remember my brother like, you just got humped by a dog. And they were like, that was the joke the rest of the summer. There was no man.
Well, did he call the next day?
Didn't even stick around for breakfast. Needless to say, I was terrified of dogs for another like decade.
Stick around for breakfast. You know, on breakfast.
You know, speaking of Adam Sandler movies, it was one of the top 3 worst experiences of my life.
That is so funny.
So embarrassing. I'm still embarrassed just talking about it.
Oh gosh, that's good.
So what was this one we were going to end on?
Okay, so to end on real quick, we were in college together and we had a lot of friends that lived with us in King Henry. Shout out King Henry.
King Henry Apartments.
Yeah, down in Provo. And we had built these like stadium seating sofas, right? So a bunch of people could fit in there, and our roommate had a projector, and so we had movie nights there a lot. And 2 of our friends, we'll call them Jack and John. We're not going to say who they are, but they know who they are, and so do all of our friends. These 2 had 2 girls come over, and they wanted to watch a movie together. So 2 of them are on one couch, 2 of them are on the other couch, but these couches are like side by side, like touching because of the way the stadium seating was, right? And they're both each cuddling with the girl and watching this movie. And as one of them explains it, all of a sudden this girl started playing footsie with him, right? They just started kind of, flirting a little bit of footsie.
Mm-hmm.
And so he starts doing footsie back, and he's getting excited, like, oh, this girl must like me. This is awesome, And footsie goes on for a little while. And then I don't remember exactly how he noticed. Maybe she stood up or just moved in a way to where he was like, wait, she just moved her leg, but I'm still doing footsie. So Jack says to John, hey, John, are you playing footsie with me? He's like, that's your foot? And the girls had not done anything, and those 2 were just like rubbing each other's feet.
They both thought they were having a magic moment.
The magic moment. And it was so funny. We actually weren't there, but then they told us about it.
Yeah.
And the girls said, oh my gosh, it's so funny. That's just the worst. Hopefully they had socks on or something. But
that's hilarious, man.
Well, I'm glad we did this. I'm glad we shared our stories. We still have, in fact, we told like 6 or something, and we have a list of 15 maybe.
Yeah, enough for a part 2 if we ever, we'll see what kind of feedback we get from this episode. But yeah, that was embarrassing.
Well, and there's other stuff that I've thought about while we're just sitting here. Lots of stuff, and then there's 1 or 2 things that I've held back on.
Yeah.
That would be a disservice to my whole family and future. My kids wouldn't get a job if I told some of these things. Right. But this was fun. I liked it.
Yeah.
I think it went well.
Good stuff, man.
Maybe people could share with us some of their embarrassing moments in the comments.
I would love to see some comments with some other embarrassing moments.
And if not, maybe me and you just post their embarrassing comments or their embarrassing moments because we know them.
We know. Yep.
Yeah. So. Great podcast. Thanks for joining today. And in case we don't see you again,
see you later.
See you later.